Hey guys, my name is Justice, and this is the start of my new channel called SwiftSports. And basically, I'm going to be uploading about 20-minute long sports shows, pretty much reviewing and previewing what's going on in the sports world. And I know this is not originally what my channel was when I first started, but I figure, I really like watching sports, so I might as well try it out. But anyways, on today's show, I'm going to be talking about highlights from the weekend. So pretty much the Game 3 of the Stanley Cup and Game 2 of the NBA Finals. So let's just get right into it with the finals. So the Warriors went up 2-0 in the series. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 122 to 103. A pretty commanding win, a win by 19 points. I mean, when I watched the game, I'd say the Warriors controlled the game for about 3 quarters, and then midway through the fourth, they just started dominating them. They were up by about, I think, 7-8 points. And then about 5 minutes into the fourth quarter, they just bumped the lead up to 15-16. And it got out of hand there. And they led the entire game. They didn't trail at all, so they pretty much controlled the game from the get-go. But also, they played great defense along the way, especially in the second quarter. When I was watching the second quarter especially, they were lights out on defense, and it was pretty amazing to watch. And it also felt like every time the Cavaliers got within 5 or 7 points, the Warriors would just score again and crush the hopes of the Cavaliers. They get a double-digit lead, and it was as if the Warriors were always one step ahead of the Cavs. But however, in the second half, when it started, there was a glimmer of hope for the Cavs. Kevin Love came out hot, and he went for 4 for 4 in the third quarter. He scored 13 points, and at that point, I thought, okay, maybe the Cavaliers they could start something here. But as I said before, the Warriors were just one step ahead, and part of the reason for that was Curry finishing with 33 points. And as a whole, the Warriors shot 57% from the field, while the Cavs only shot 41%. And, they just had a really good shooting performance that night. And just to put a cherry on top of that, too, Curry made 9 3-point field goals, which is the most in NBA Finals history, and it just really does go to show you how well of a shooting night it was for Golden State and how the Cavs really couldn't do anything. They could not stop them. I mean, there was a shot. Curry, he made a crazy fadeaway 3-point shot, I think, in the third or fourth quarter, and it was just showing the night that the Warriors had. It was pretty crazy. And, I mean, even Sean Livingston and JaVale McGee were getting in on the action. They combined for 22 points, and they even went 11 for 11 from the field. They shot 100%. And I mean, Livingston coming off the bench, it's actually crazy because, fun fact is, Livingston actually has not missed a shot in the finals thus far. He's gone 9 for 9 from the field, and he scored 20 points in the first game, scored 10 points in game 1 and 10 games last night. And JaVale McGee, he got the start, and he went, 5 for 5 or 6 for 6 and scored 12 points. So that's pretty crazy. But anyways, enough talking about the Warriors. Well, I would talk about the Cavs more, but there really isn't anything more to talk about other than LeBron going to the bench for the first time in what feels like an eternity. I swear I saw LeBron go to the bench for the first time since, I think, Game 6 against the Celtics. He usually plays the full 48 minutes because, I mean, who else do the Cavs have? I mean, without LeBron on the court, they're nothing. So it was crazy just watching him go on the bench for the first time in what seems like so long. But anyways, enough about that. Warriors do end up winning it 122-103. It's looking up for the Warriors. However, it's really looking grim for LeBron and the Cavaliers. All right, anyways, now let's go on to the Stanley Cup. I know the Stanley Cup was Saturday, so it's about 2 days ago. As of this recording, this is Monday, so I'm hoping this goes up on Monday. But on Saturday, Stanley Cup Game 3, series is tied 1-1, and the Caps won it 3-1. Now they take the lead of the series 2-1. Game 4 will be in Washington. So the Capitals, if they can win that game, that could be big for them. But what I realized from the game, the Capitals were just constantly on the attack. And they were just constantly attacking Marc-Andre Fleury, a goalkeeper for the Golden Knights. And it just seemed like the Golden Knights were rattled. I mean, while watching the game, they just seemed on edge, especially in the away game in Washington. But Capitals didn't win in a convincing fashion. It seemed like they had a lot of possession of the puck. And for me, at least, it seemed the only reason that the score was 3-1 and 3-0 was because of a mistake by Braden Holtby, the Capitals goalkeeper. He just basically handed the puck to a Golden Knights player, and he just hit it in the net. But other than that, this game could have been 3-0. Other than that, the Golden Knights look, I wouldn't say awful, but they just did not look the best in that game. And, I'm not sure what was the reason for it. Maybe, the Capitals, they do have a good defense. They played really good defense on them, but, I expected more from Knights. They didn't seem rattled in game one at home for their first ever Stanley Cup final. But maybe it's getting to them now. I don't know. But anyways, Caps take it 3-1. They lead the series 2-1. Game 4 is actually tonight. So that is the review for the weekend. Weekend review, we got the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 3, and then NBA Finals, Game 2. But, since we're on the Stanley Cup Final, we might as well start the preview of the game. So Game 4 tonight, in Washington. I do think the Golden Knights are going to take this and tie up the series 2-2. Personally, just the reason for it is I don't see the Knights going down 3-1 in the series. They've been, other than this series, they've been dominant throughout the entire NHL playoffs. There was an instance, though, where they were down, and there was an instance where they were down 0-1 to the Winnipeg Jets in the conference finals. But then they ended up winning 4 in a row, took the series 4-1. So, they show that they are capable of coming back from a series deficit. However, I don't think that'll happen. I still think, I guess this is my first prediction. I do think the Caps are still going to win the series in 6. I think they're going to take it 4-2. I think the Golden Knights win this one. I think if the Capitals can get another game in Vegas, if they can win Game 5 in Vegas, I think they will take it at home and win it in 6. But other than that, the reason for me thinking the Capitals win the series is I think their defense is just too much for the Golden Knights to handle the rest of the series. Golden Knights, however, they're a great story. First year in the league, making it to the Stanley Cup Finals, best record in the NHL. But I do think they will come up short. But they will probably, this is a great start for a new franchise, and they're probably going to have a very successful future. But yeah, anyways, Game 4, I think the Knights take it, but I do think that the Caps will end up taking the series, but we'll see about that. Let's preview Game 3 of the NBA Finals on Wednesday. Game will be in Cleveland, and they're down 2-0 in the series. For this game, I do think the Cavaliers will win it, but the Warriors will still lead 2-1. I just think, the Cavs, they usually play very well in their first home game in a series, especially after playing 2 games on the road. I do think they're going to win this one in a pretty, I wouldn't say a pretty deserving fashion. I'm not saying they're going to win by 15 points, but I think they might win this with a pretty comfortable cushion of about 6 to 8 points. It'll be close in some areas, but I just think the Cavs, they're going to have to get a win sometime on the board. As always, I expect a big game from LeBron. LeBron's crazy, man. But however, I still think the Warriors are going to win the series in 5. I just don't see, other than this game 3, I don't see LeBron James coming back from 0-2 deficit against a team like the Warriors. We have seen LeBron come back from 2-0. Example, just a couple weeks ago, play against the Celtics. They were down 3-2, won 2 games in a row, went to the finals. But then again, that was a young Celtics team. I'm not taking anything away from the Celtics. Celtics are a great team. They're just young, and they're not experienced. But that was the Celtics. And you got to remember, Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward were hurt. They were out for the whole series. And this Warriors team is way different from the Celtics. They got, 4 All-Stars in their team, so I don't think they're going to choke like the Celtics. But, I guess you never know with LeBron. But, with the Cavaliers playing against this caliber of a Warriors team, in my opinion, I think if LeBron James can win this series, can come back and win this series, I do think he is the GOAT. I think he's the greatest of all time. And, I think he's better than Michael Jordan for that, just because Michael Jordan always had a player. He had Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Steve Kerr, coach for the Warriors. But Michael Jordan never won a finals with the team that LeBron James has right now. I mean, if you look at LeBron James' team, who is his second best player? I mean, Kevin Love, really, like, not really the best sidekick ever. So I do think if they come back, and especially if they come back and win this series down from 0-2, I do think he's the greatest of all time just because Michael Jordan never did that. He never won a finals with a team like the Cavaliers have right now. But anyways, for my prediction for Game 3 on Wednesday, Cavaliers win it, but I do think they will end up coming up short in the finals as a whole. But yeah. Anyways, so that's enough for the previewing for the NBA Finals and Stanley Cup. Let's look forward to the 2018 FIFA World Cup, which I do think many people, especially foreigners, are excited about. I know in America, it's not as big of a deal as in almost every other country in the world, but personally for me, I find it very fascinating. Only 10 days away, guys. 10 days as of this recording. Only 10 days away. I'm so excited for it. And I'm just going to let you guys know right now, coverage-wise, once the World Cup starts, it's going to be the main sporting event that I'll be covering. And part of me actually wants the Warriors to sweep the Cavaliers just so that the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup will be over before the World Cup. So then the World Cup is the main thing that will be on. But guys, the main reason I'm so excited for the World Cup, I mean, it happens every 4 years. It really is a global celebration. I don't care what anyone says, there is nothing like the World Cup. I mean, I've heard people compare March Madness, like, oh, FIFA World Cup is the March Madness of soccer, but I mean, March Madness and World Cup, I do enjoy them both very well, but they're just on two separate planes. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but World Cup is just an experience like no other. I mean, it really is exciting to watch. Even though America, I am a USA soccer fan, even though America's on it, I'm still really excited. But anyways, let's just get into it for the previewing. I am not done with I have been reading up and researching. I'm not done with my bracket yet. I have some ideas of who I think will win. So today I'm not going to preview my bracket. Maybe in the next show I will. But today I'm just going to list my favorites to win it. And so I'm going to say the 4 teams that I do think will win. I think one of these 4 teams is going to win the World Cup. So, and this is no specific order, so I'm not ranking it like worst to best or anything. This is just random order. So I think Germany, they have a great chance of winning, partly just because they're the defending champs. And I know a lot of people say, oh, they probably won't have enough to win it this year. But, I mean, if you look at Germany, they have so much depth. They could bring their C team to this World Cup and still make it to the quarterfinals. They have incredible depth. And I just think they pretty much have the same squad from 2014. And I just think they have enough to get it done again. So I think Germany, they could easily win this. I mean, if you're looking bracket-wise into it, I think their toughest match this is like the possibilities I've seen, the toughest match they get latest in the match is, I think, if they play Spain in the semifinals. But I mean, other than that, the semifinals and finals, like the 2 games they have to worry about, I think they have a fairly easy road to win it. But I think Germany, great chance. Second team I think has a good chance of winning, Brazil. They have a complete squad in this World Cup. I mean, in the 2014 World Cup, it was kind of just like a makeshift squad, and they relied really heavily on Neymar. And then you saw how it turned out when Neymar got hurt and they lost 7-1 to Brazil. When they didn't have Neymar, they were done. Well, I also do think that even if Neymar was playing in that game, I still think Brazil would have lost to Germany, but still, they relied heavily on Neymar. But now they have a squad that is better than the 2014 squad. They're not as dependent on Neymar. Then they're really a well-rounded, balanced team. So I do think even if Neymar gets hurt he's a little hurt right now, but he's still going to play in the World Cup. If Neymar gets hurt for some reason, they will still be a good team because they won't have to depend on him. They won't be as good, but they're going to be a good team even if he is hurt. So we have the third team now. I like France. I think France has a good chance of winning it. And part of it, I really like Antoine Griezmann and Paul Pogba. I think they're the leaders of this France team. They play really well. I've always been a fan of Antoine Griezmann, especially going back to the 2016 UEFA Euro Cup. He had a great tournament. I mean, given the tournament was in France, so they did have the home advantage. But Griezmann, especially in that game when they played against Germany, they won 2-0 against Germany. Griezmann scored both goals. He's a great player. Also, they're just like Germany. They have incredible depth. I don't think they have as good of depth as Germany, but they do have a lot of depth. My one concern for them is just I feel like in Russia they're not going to have the home advantage like they did in France. So I don't know how that will translate. They're still a good team, but in France they were in the final. They had the home support on their side. Here they're still going to have the support, but I'm just not sure if it'll translate for them. But anyways, the fourth team, I know this one's a little controversial. I'm just going to say Argentina. And I know you can throw Spain in there easily, but not taking anything away from Spain. If I had to pick an honorable mention, it would be Spain. But Argentina, I just think, it's probably Messi's last World Cup. He's getting pretty old again, towards the point where he's not going to play for the national team in a couple of years. And, he's got the burden of a country on his shoulders. I mean, he's kind of in a similar situation as Cristiano Ronaldo was in the 2016 UEFA Euro Cup. Portugal hadn't won, a championship in a while, and Ronaldo had the burden of a country on his shoulders, and then they ended up winning it. So I think this is definitely more major than that, but Messi is in the same situation. And I know they've been very shaky, and they rely very heavily on Lionel Messi. But I just think that team as a whole, especially considering they went to 3 major championships in a row, they went to the 2013 Copa America, lost to Chile, 2014 World Cup, lost to Germany, and then 2015, or was it 2016? I think it was 2015 Copa America. And Argentina lost to Chile again in penalties. This is heartbreaking for Messi. I just really think that this team is hungry to win a championship, especially the World Cup. And I think that if they really, really put the time and the dedication into this, and they really show that fierce competitiveness, I think Argentina can win it. I think out of all these teams I've listed, Argentina is definitely the lowest ranked to get just because of how they've been playing lately. The team is not as good as 2014, but the hunger that this team has is incredible. But those are my 4 teams that I do think will win this. I'm also going to throw a dark horse out there. I think the dark horse to win this tournament, and I know a lot of teams have this team, but personally, for me, I've always been a fan of them. I think Belgium is the dark horse to win the World Cup this year. I've always liked watching Belgium. I really like Belgium. I've always enjoyed watching Kevin De Bruyne and Romelu Lukaku and Eden Hazard. They are great players. But this is the golden generation. Many have said this is the best Belgium team that has ever played. Golden generation of Belgium soccer. And they have great players, Kevin De Bruyne, Eden Hazard, Romelu Lukaku. I'm fans of watching all of them. And even when they beat America in the last World Cup, I was devastated as an American fan, but I always enjoyed watching them. I have great respect for Belgium. I rooted for them in the UEFA Euro Cup. They didn't play too well, but other than that, anyways, besides De Bruyne, Hazard, and Lukaku, they have a great set of defenders, one of which, Vincent Kompany, great defender. But the big question for Belgium is if they can deliver or not. And I know they came up short in the UEFA Euro Cup. They were expected to play a lot better. And they really fall short of expectations. They fell short of expectations in the World Cup in 2014 and the Euros 2016. So the big thing for them is, can they finally get past this hurdle and play up to expectations? And so that's the major question with them. I think if they can just get past this hurdle, Belgium has a great chance of winning this thing. Realistically, I think the furthest Belgium can go is the semifinals. I do think, realistically, I think they're definitely going to make it to the quarterfinals. They could make it to the semifinals. But if they can just get past their demons, a final is definitely reachable, considering the talent that is on this Belgium team. But anyways, guys, that is my World Cup predictions, and so far what I've seen and what I'm looking at. But other than that, guys, that is going to be the whole show. That is my review of the NBA Finals, Stanley Cup, and a preview of the 2018 FIFA World Cup. If you guys are watching this, thank you for watching. I know I don't have much of an audience right now, but if you guys want to share this video and get it out, if you did enjoy it, share this video. Let me know in the comments, constructive criticism on what I can do better. I'm really excited to start doing this because I've always been a fan of, who isn't a fan of sports? I've always liked analyzing sports and it's always been a passion of mine. So if you guys do enjoy this, let me know. Please share it with your friends. And I'm thinking about uploading a show probably 1 or 2 times a week. My plan has been making a show every Monday to recap what has been going on the weekend, and then make a show on Friday recapping what's been going on the whole week. However, I'm gonna be out of town on Friday, so there probably won't be a show. But I think when I get back, that's what I'm gonna work on. And then also when the World Cup starts, I might just make daily videos, just recapping what's going on in the World Cup, and then a Monday and Friday show. But anyways, guys, other than that, if you did enjoy this, leave a like, comment, tell me what I could do better, share this with your friends, please. I would like this. If you really do enjoy this, thank you, I guess. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.